Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Kelly Ramirez. I'm the CEO at Social Enterprise Greenhouse. And for those of you who are unfamiliar with Social Enterprise Greenhouse, we're a nonprofit, call ourselves an ecosystem builder that supports businesses that are making the world a better place in some way. We have an emphasis on trying to recruit entrepreneurs and businesses that are have been historically excluded. And we have a very comprehensive menu of services, a 6-week early stage incubator program, a 12-week accelerator program. We operate a co-working space in the Innovation or Jewelry District in Providence. We also have a presence at Innovate Newport in Newport and do some work out of the Florence Gray Center there. And we work out of the Rail, which is a relatively new co-working space on the border between Pawtucket and Central Falls. One of the things that we obviously hear from the over 600 businesses and entrepreneurs that are in our ecosystem is, financial sustainability is a challenge. And because we work with both nonprofits and for-profits, some ventures focus more on fundraising, but many ventures are really working to attract new customers. And we were very excited when SupplyRI partnered with the Heron Foundation and launched the SupplyRI program, which Doris will talk about in more length, but it's really, aimed at helping local small businesses get access to larger customers, which can really, help a business be able to sort of scale. I think a lot about there are so many challenges in the social enterprise space for social enterprises tend to be small and really struggle to access larger customers. But there's one great social enterprise. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm drawing a blank on this right now. Greystone Bakery, which is based in New Jersey, and they have a blind employment policy. So a lot of their workforce tends to be people who have been formerly incarcerated. And they've been able to really grow. And that is largely because they have a significant contract with Ben & Jerry's. So the good news is you should all eat more Ben & Jerry's, because the more that you eat, the more positive social impact that you're having. But the point here is that that contract has been transformational for that social enterprise. And so we were very excited that Commerce invited us to partner with them on this program. And our real hope is that we can help work with social enterprises to make sure that anchor institutions, large organizations know about the amazing products and services that they offer. And I think the time is so right now that anchors and large businesses want to work with these types of organizations, because people want purpose in their lives, and it positively impacts the bottom line of an organization to be able to show that they are having a positive impact. And so in many cases, a contract with a small social enterprise becomes part of a larger organization's social impact strategy. So very glad, this is just the beginning. So glad you joined us today to learn more about this program, and and hopefully this is just the start of a long journey working together. So I'm going to turn it over to Doris Blanchard of SupplyRI now.
Thank you, Kelly. Thank you, Constance, for the invitation. It has been, as you said, a great partnership. Very glad to see you all virtually here in the middle of this pandemic. But I think this is a great opportunity for all of you and for us to work together and to hear from you This is a great opportunity also for you to learn more about SupplyRI and what is SupplyRI and what we have been working on, and how I'm going to share with you later on how this crisis, the COVID-19, has in a way, or supply has played a role during this crisis. And so that's something that I would like to share with you today. But I'm gonna just provide you an overview of SupplyRI. We're gonna be talking about, what a SupplyRI is, how it works, and then my colleague Bronte later on is going to show you how you can become and be part of this initiative. And then at the end, we're going to have an opportunity for you to ask questions. So next. So SupplyRI, the goals of SupplyRI, first of all, this is an initiative that it started with Governor Raimondo. And just briefly, I just wanted to mention to you, this was based on a feasibility study where we identify businesses based in Rhode Island doing businesses outside of the footprint. So there was a study done, 6 of our current anchors participated, and a lot of these small businesses expressed the desire to, wanted to provide their goods and services here in Rhode Island, but there was no opportunity for them. There was no business that they can be in, open the doors with these buyers. So thanks to the Rhode Island Foundation and the Huron Foundation, this, and with Commerce Funds as well, this was a reality, became a reality. So the goals of SupplyRI is that to increase the amounts of goods and services employers procure with suppliers located in Rhode Island. And we emphasize local because we wanted to, this initiative to be local, to hire local, to buy local. So that is the main goal of SupplyRI. And the long terms of SupplyRI is at the same time as we are onboarding suppliers, that we provide them with the resources, the training, for them to have the capacity to respond to the needs of the larger employers. So that is, kind of like a parallel process that we have in SupplyRI to assist our small businesses in the state and to improve the supply chain responses and with efficiency within the institutions. Next. So for the supplier side, the mission of SupplyRI is for them to respond to RFPs. And what it means by that is a lot of the anchors, they send us requests that they need some products, they need services. So, but our suppliers need to learn how to respond to RFPs. So we partner with a lot of organizations that help them to respond. That we want to make sure that they meet the guidelines, that they meet the requirements, that they have the capacity. So we have, through the onboarding process, we will ask them different questions, and all the guidelines that are needed for them to respond to those requests. Also, we work with the Department of Administration. So, they also provide us with information on RFPs, and we share that information with our suppliers. Also, we work with, different state agencies like the Department of Transportation, the RI, the airport, and many other agencies. So there's a lot of opportunities that, higher education, the hospitals, where they are constantly seeking, but we want to make sure that our suppliers are ready to respond. And that's why we have an array of training resources and access to capital and all the partnerships that we have, including Social Enterprise Greenhouse, for those suppliers to be ready and able to respond to these requests. On the anchor side, for them, SupplyRI is a great tool that they utilize. We have over 200 requests from them. Very easy process for them to just request the type of supplier that they need, what are the requirements. And it's important to mention that, you know, SupplyRI role with the anchors is through a concierge model. So we don't get involved in the vetting process. That is up to the anchor to, you know, select the suppliers, the list of suppliers that they would like to, invite them to their portal or whatever their procurement process is. So that is, I think it is important to mention that we don't get involved into the vetting process, but you know, the more that we know about your products or your services, you know, you will be included in the list. And also the anchors have the capacity to navigate through the database so they can actually do their own search in the database that we have in SupplyRI. Next. So talking about the economic impact, the goal since 2018 when we launched SupplyRI was to meet these goals and also create jobs, right? Provide opportunities, and bottom line was to do economic impact. So actually right now we are updating, you will see some numbers later on, but I think I will have to say with confidence that we have met a lot of these goals and, you know, in less than 3 years. So this is, you know, great news for us. Next. This is, as of today, we have 14 anchors. As you see, you know, these are large buyers. And we call them anchors because they have a footprint in the state. They're not going anywhere. They are here, they're based here. Their headquarters are here. And they are, you know, we have a great relationship with these anchors. We have been working in different efforts and initiatives. You know, especially during these times of COVID-19. I can mention a few like Amica, Brown University, CBS, Gilbane. They're all, you know, coming to us seeking for suppliers constantly on different products and services. So right now we are in the process of onboarding 2 more anchors. But I just have to mention the SupplyRI, and we are in constant communication with other similar initiatives of in the nation. And SupplyRI is the only initiative of supply chain that is so diverse. And what I mean by diverse, I mean by having anchors from the higher education sector, from the health system sector, and also in combination with the construction, private entities, and even a financial institution. So when we get in on the calls, we are part of the Democracy Collaborative. They are just amazed on how we interact with our suppliers, how we work with our anchors, showing, you know, the different impact in the different sectors. So as you can see here, we also work with the offshore wind sector, with the higher education in the construction sector. Next. So at this time, I am going to have Bronte talk to you very briefly on our metrics of SupplyRI. Bronte? Bronte, can you hear?
Yes, yeah. Thank you, Doris. So right now at present, we have 1,770 unique suppliers within our little community, 287 of which are minority-owned business enterprises or women-owned business enterprises. We have 162 capability statements that have been uploaded to our database, which is where we store all of our interactions, and it's also where you can upload your information, register for workshops and events. Essentially, that's the heart of our program. And suppliers, as a supplier, you would have your own login information, which would allow you to access this and edit and upload your business information. And I'll get into a little bit of that later. Additionally, we have 21 veterans, and at present there's 7,473 supplier assistance touch points between, so that's between us and the suppliers. Next. So just really briefly, we have 2 case studies just to talk about. This one is between Heroica and RISD. So this is a quote from the president of Heroica Construction, which is one of our suppliers. Heroica got the Rhode Island School of Design contract through SupplyRI. They didn't previously know who RISD was, and RISD didn't know who Heroica was, but in the end, there was a $150,000 contract awarded. Next. And then here we also have another case study here from Flatwaves. And this kind of gets to the heart of how attending different events that SupplyRI kind of has is a really great opportunity. We have networking events where suppliers can meet participating buyers. And we have invite-only supplier procurement events with our anchors, during which you can gain referrals for upcoming procurement opportunities and receive business assistance involving finance, legal, accounting, and other services at little to no cost. And then just additionally, as Doris had previously kind of spoke to, we had a lot of goals for SupplyRI. Pre-COVID-19 contracts awarded totaled 3.5 million. And our goal was to facilitate 5 million in contract awards in 2020. And at present, SupplyRI's total aggregate spend is approximately 55.3 million. And the general categories for that would be, general janitorial, general construction, food industry, and professional services. And COVID-19 posed a unique opportunity to connect our suppliers with opportunities to help them grow and expand through virtual procurement. So that played a really big part, and we're really proud to be a part of that.
Yeah, so thanks, Bronte, for mentioning that, and I think that is a great point to emphasize that, even though we have been going through this, pandemic and crisis that has affected a lot of businesses, also it has become an opportunity for suppliers to think and to become innovators. So maybe, I'm looking forward for you to share in some of your experiences, but we have a lot of businesses that they have kind of like convert their products and services to target the demand that we were seeking. So especially for PPE products, cleaning supplies, all those services, translation services, marketing services, technology services. So it has become an opportunity, and that's the reason that we have increased tremendously our our goal and beyond what we didn't even expect it, but it became a great opportunity for a lot of our suppliers. Next. So let me talk about this. So when we created our plan for 2020, These are the three buckets that we wanted to concentrate for this year. So the matchmaking is very important. We are going to we're planning to do a matchmaking maybe virtually, you know, in the next quarter. We had a great event last year, so based on that, we have a list of suppliers that, you know, went through the process of interviewing and talking some of our anchors. Excuse me. So we are going to work on that, doing more of the one-on-one follow-ups. We're gonna be targeting networking opportunities, doing our you know, follow-ups with our anchors. Also, we are going to be working on structuring contracts as a team. So, you know, connecting suppliers under the same type of industry so they can work together to respond to a bid. Also, there is an initiative to accelerate the accounts payable payments. So we're going to continue with that also through identifying ways to, you know, access capital for our suppliers. And also we had I think we talked about this aggregate demand, but we are going to be releasing a report at the end of this quarter to show, you know, how is SupplyRI has met and exceed our aggregated demand, and also reviewing for more upcoming opportunities on that. Next. Okay, so now it's the onboarding overview, and Bronte, you can take it from here.
So, like I said previously, to become onboarded or to participate in SupplyRI, there's the SupplyRI I Center, which is our database in which you can update and upload information about your enterprise, which will enable the SupplyRI anchors to locate you as a sustainable supplier, and this is at no cost to you as a SupplyRI supplier. To access the link to sign up, you would just need to go to CommerceRI, to this link right here, and you would just need to create an e-center account and upload and input all requested information, and you have the opportunity to upload capability statements, your W-9, and other information. And in doing so, you'll be able to engage with SupplyRI. Next. So once you go to that link that was on the previous slide, you're brought to this page, and it's a simple 6-step application in which you just fill out basic contact information and business information. If you are a registered business in the state of Rhode Island, you're eligible to be a part of SupplyRI. And if you are not yet registered to do business in this state, you can do so at the Rhode Island Secretary of State corporate database. And if you're uploading your information, just as a little tip, it's just helpful to make sure that you're putting as much information as possible. If you're putting your enterprise name that you're registered to do business under, as well as any names that you actually do business under, and all of the appropriate codes that would go with your business. So if you add both your primary North American Industry Classification System code, that would be a really helpful way to ensure that suppliers are able to find you appropriately. Next. And then once you actually fill out the application, you'll just get this little email letting you know that your application has been processed. Next. And once you do so, you'll be able to access this, and this is where you can upload your documents in your documents folder towards the left. And you'll also see in the documents folder page a template for your capability statement and an example of a capability statement, which you can also see on the next slide. So to the left is the template and to the right is the example. And if you have any further questions about this, I would be more than happy to speak with you about it in greater detail. So please just feel free to reach out. And
one of the things that I wanted to add on the capability statement, I know that sometimes we get a lot of questions on that, you know, be creative. I mean, you know your business, you know what they want you to know, you know, about what can you provide, either your products or your services. You know, it doesn't need to be as full as, you know, what is in the template, but at least let us know about, you know, your products. And the reason being is that when we get a request, we will provide a list of suppliers only for those that have a, you know, information in their profile and that they include a capability statement. You know, it's kind of like your resume, right? You're applying for a job, you want to send your cover letter and you want to send your resume. So this is kind of like the same idea. So when you are providing information about your business, you know, make sure that you provide us with a lot of information about your business and including your capability statement. But as Bronte said, you know, if you have any questions or you wanted to, you know, we also provide workshops on capability statements. So, you know, we're planning to do another one. But if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us. Back to you, Kelly or Constance.
Well, yeah, before we move on to questions, in addition to all of this, SEG is really thinking through other services we can provide specifically to the social impact community to help ensure that these matches are made and to ensure that, you know, you sort of really stand out in the sea of the many, many, many local suppliers that exist. So Constance, could you talk a little bit about some of our other strategies related to that?
Sure. So as Kelly mentioned, and we mentioned this in our emails to folks, SEG and SupplyRI are launching a buyer's guide to profile local businesses that prioritize their social, local, and or environmental impact. And so the buyer's guide will be an overview of the sort of diverse offerings of our social enterprise community in order to promote and advance your products and services to both the individual consumer side as well as the anchor institutions. And so what we're doing right now is we have a form that folks can fill out that will collect key information. And then we'll be using that information and populating a sort of little microsite with all of that information, as well as a physical guide that we'll be using to share with our Rhode Island community. And to that, I'll be following up with folks individually to discuss that initiative further and to see if you guys have any questions about the buyer's guide and help you through that process.
And just to build on that, you know, we have relationships with specific departments, for example, within Brown that really prioritize impact. So in this sense, our hope is, although this will all go through the SupplyRI program, our goal is to really actively market on your behalf to anchor institutions that we know prioritize impact and company, you know, larger companies, because we know that there are a lot of them and we have relationships with many of them.
Yes, thanks, Kelly. Does anyone have any questions about the buyer's guide or SupplyRI before we move into the discussion about reopening Rhode Island? If you do have a question, please use the chat functionality, and then we'll just read it out to everyone, and then we'll answer any questions that you have.
Yeah. And in addition to questions, if any of you have ideas for other things that SEG can do to help, you know, connect you to customers, please let us, or commerce, please let us know. You know, we're trying to constantly figure out how we can best serve as an intermediary to sort of advance all the amazing work that all of you do. No questions?
Yeah, no questions at this time. So what we'll do is we're gonna hand it back over to Doris to kind of go over some of the reopening plans for Rhode Island. And then after that, we'll again open it up for questions and then move on from there.
Thanks, Constance. Yeah, so I just wanted to provide you an overview. I'm sure that some of you, or maybe most of you, have been following the governor and Secretary Stephen Pryor talking about reopening. The entire team of Commerce, we have been, you know, hands-on, answering a lot of questions since day one. We have received over 7,000 calls from our small businesses, you know, seeking for resources, tech support, access to capital, and so many other resources, PPEs. And so now we are going into phase 2. So I just wanted to take this opportunity to kind of like provide you an overview about, you know, the different phases and what we're doing and how we're moving forward. So in this slide, as you see, is the plan, and is by phases. So phase 1 was testing the water, where, you know, some of the businesses resume and social activity was on limited basis. So that was, you know, restricted by, you know, congregating of 5 people, and some with a lot of restrictions. So throughout all the different phases, the Department of Health guidelines, or the CDC guidelines, are gonna be in effect. And what that means, you know, washing your hands, keeping your social distance, using the mask, and you know, following the protocols of cleaning in all the different types of industries. So starting June 1st, we went into phase 2, what we call navigating our way. And what that means is that, you know, more businesses, effective June 1st, which was this Monday, open it up with following the different guidelines. We are looking forward to phase 3. We don't have the date yet, but that is where most businesses will be open with new guidelines, including travel and other restrictions, you know, that may continue. And eventually, you know, let's hope maybe by August, we will land, or we will arrive at our destination, you know, with fewer restrictions. Next. So as effective June 1st, more sectors open in the state, again, following our health and safety protocols. So the social gathering increased to 15 people. Domestic travel, the 14-day quarantine remains only for those returning to Rhode Island from an area is still under stay-at-home restrictions. So we know, like, for example, Massachusetts will not apply in this case, or Connecticut will not apply. So, but if other states are still, you know, under some restrictions, then you're gonna have to follow the quarantine. And also it is important that, you know, the 14-day quarantine is still in effect if you have been exposed to anyone that has, you know, have positive COVID-19. Office-based businesses can allow up to 33% of the workforce. There's a lot of guidelines being developed right now. So we're gonna I was just participating in this panel earlier this morning. So there's a lot of restrictions coming up on, how to handle the workforce returning to work. State parks and beaches will be open with capacity limitations. I just wanted to mention that all this information is available in our website of reopeningri.com, or you can go to the website of commerceri.com and you will see one of the boxes there in the commerce in the front page. And there's different guidelines for different types of industries. Houses of worship can reopen up to 25% capacity with restrictions. Also for non-critical retail, the malls will reopen on Monday, but now they are closed until given, the circumstances that we are facing right now. Will reopen, I believe this weekend or Monday. Restaurants will be reopening with to begin indoor dining up to 50% capacities. We have been assisting a lot of restaurants with their opening process, licensing from the different cities, so they can handle those permits as needed. Hair care and personal services, including the barbershops, salons, nail care, waxing, they are reopened with restrictions. Also, this is a big community that we have. With a lot of us didn't realize how big this community is, but we have been receiving a lot of their feedback, a lot of their suggestions. So they are open, but with some restrictions. Gyms, fitness studios also reopened with restrictions and the number of members that can attend the class. Outdoor entertainment, recreation services, like zoos, outdoors areas and historical sites allowed to resume on limited basis. And childcare has resumed as of June 1st, also with restrictions and specific guidelines. And summer camps and small group youth sport will resume on June 29 with restrictions. I encourage you to visit the website of reopeningri.com as our guidelines constantly change. And again, for every type of industry, there are different guidelines, so you can visit our website. Next. These are just the requirements for all business. As I mentioned, the social distancing, at least 6 feet, the mask and face covering. That is an executive order. If you go outside or you go to the store, you need to wear the mask. You don't need to wear the N95s. It should be just covering your face with a cloth. A lot of people are getting very innovative about how they are making their masks. I love that. I've been getting different masks and wearing them with, different colors with my different outfits. So it's a great opportunity for a lot of business to get creative. Make sure that you follow the health screening protocols, the ventilations, especially for, stores that, they need to increase their ventilation, opening doors. They are discouraging the use of the AC. And one of the reasons is because, it has found that the virus travels, so when you are turning on the AC, you can, get impacted by, by the travel of the virus. And especially if the room is enclosed and there's no other ventilation other than, absorbing that. Sanitation is very important to, keep those workplaces and locations at least once daily with, sanitizers, cleaning constantly, washing your hands, and using the hand sanitizer. And also for the small businesses, it is required that you have your COVID-19 control plan that is in the website. You can download it. It's very easy. Yes, it's a checklist that you need to post on your window, a visible area. A lot of inspectors from the Department of Regulations and the Department of Health, they're visiting a lot of businesses and just asking for their COVID-19 control plan. You don't have to submit it to any of the agencies. You just have to have it in your folder, and also having the business checklist posted it in a visible area. Next. And I think that's it. So if you have any questions, you know, feel free to let us know. Back to you, Constance.
Thank you. Thank you, Doris. Yeah, so again, if you guys have any questions about Supplier I, the onboarding process, or about the reopening phases that Doris just went over, just pop those in the chat and then we can answer them. All right. I guess we don't have any questions. So at this point, what we'll do is we'll be sending up a follow-up email about information about onboarding with Supplier I, as well as our buyer's guide, and links to the resources Doris mentioned in the presentation. And then, you know, feel free to email us or reach out with any questions that you might have. Kelly, Doris, do you have anything else to add?
I will be curious to hear from, and I see, you know, few familiar faces. You know, I'm sure that you have some questions, some, you know, what is going to happen? How do you think your business, you know, how we can help you? I think this is a great opportunity to have just, you know, a conversation about, you know, how do you think for you means the new normal in your business?
And Doris, we do have one question that just came in.
Oh, good.
The question is, if a supplier was also interested in working with other local suppliers, would that be possible?
That is a great question. Absolutely. And Supplier I, actually, you know, we had a specific event, maybe a couple of events, where we match our suppliers. So what we call the B2B. So that is a component of Supplier I. And actually we have businesses working together, you know, right now for different projects. So yes, absolutely, that is totally welcome.
Thank you. Anyone else have any questions or want to respond to Doris's last point? All right. Okay. Did Kelly, Doris, do you have any, you know, parting words before we end the webinar?
Well, you know, if you have any questions,
sorry, I was just putting my headphones back on.
the number to call is we have a hotline at Commerce is 401-521-HELP. 401-521-4357. You can visit the website at commerceri.com. All the information is there in the website. We try to update it on the daily basis. If you have any questions or you need anything, if you need supplies like masks or PPE products, we have a list there that we updated once a week on PPE products. If you want to also be part of the list, please send us an email and we will send you a link so we can onboard your businesses. So whatever you may need, please feel free to give us a call.
And I just wanted to Thank you all for participating, and look forward to hopefully working together with you on this. And also, if you need help with any other aspect of your business, please feel free to reach out to SEG. One of the services that we're offering right now is called an adaptive strategy huddle. And it's about a 2-hour group consulting session. We bring together 4 or 5 of our volunteers, and you talk about, you know, where your business is and some of the challenges that you're facing. And then we do a strategy brainstorm to think through things that you can, ways you can maybe pivot and you know, work to make sure that your business remains sustainable, financially viable through these times. We've done many over the last several weeks, and I think they're just really helpful in terms of, you know, having a number of brains thinking, helping you think through different strategies that you can adopt. So please reach out to either Constance or I if that service might be of use to you at this time.
Great, thank you, Kelly. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for participating. And again, we'll be in touch with some of the resources we discussed in the call, and then feel free to reach out to any of us with questions. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Yeah.